Nanator.
Why did you do that for?
I can't help it, man. I can't help it. It just is what it is. So, anyways, yeah. Let's see. I'm going to set this up to send out the
Episode 30, man.
What's that?
Episode 30 today, I think. If we don't count the missing episodes from Zach, this would be episode 30.
If we don't count the missing episodes from Zach, this will be episode 30. I love it. Hashtag episode 30.
That episode's actually sitting on my computer. I'm supposed to edit that. There's so much editing.
It's a lot to edit.
3 hours of editing. So
oh my gosh. Daria just joined. Daria, what's going on? Emiliano just joined. What's going on? If you guys are watching live, hashtag live in the comments below. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments below. How's it going, Emiliano? He says hi there. So tonight is kind of a special edition. We decided we were going to do Whiskey Thursday based around what you guys wanted to hear about, what you were interested in. So before we jump into that, why don't you let us know where you're watching from? Let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods. And did you vote on the poll about what we were going to talk about tonight?
And don't forget, if you're watching live, hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay.
Just say that for like the first 5 minutes.
That's good.
Yeah. She's off to karaoke night.
Who's that? Alexa.
Alexa, man. Give me 1 second. Let me grab the link so I can throw it in the chat bot. Let everybody know we are live.
Vancouver. Oh, Daria, you're from Vancouver. I didn't know that.
Vancouver, Canada. Nice.
Emiliano, Texas. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us. I charge my phone here. Charging your phone is what you said? Yeah, I just charge that. Awesome, guys. If you're just joining, let us know where you're joining from. So as Matt was saying, tonight we're going to go ahead and answer some questions. Matt posted a poll inside the group to see what people wanted to learn about or hear about or have any specific questions they want answered. That's what we're going to do tonight.
Should be a good time.
It's been a long day. So we just wrapped up our chatbot bootcamp, day number 3 today. I went through some more advanced stuff today. So I think that went pretty good. Blew my mind. That last little bit, I just could barely follow.
Pretty epic, right?
Yeah, very, it's pretty cool. Like when you don't know how to do that kind of stuff, it can be a little bit, like once you figure it out, I think, it's not that difficult, but to kind of think about it. And then obviously the custom code definitely helps, right? So anybody watching that was on the bootcamp tonight that saw it, let us know.
Yeah, Emiliano's here.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was on.
All right. We got a bunch of people joining.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Alex, Anthony, man, what is going up, my man? Good to see you.
Anthony was he was the creator of the motivated seller class, which was freaking amazing. Learned a lot on that one. I don't know about you, Shane, but it gave me some pretty cool tips that I think I can use for sure. Yeah, for sure. And I think compared to some of the stuff that we had done in the past, now we kind of know why it didn't work all that well. So yeah. No, Anthony definitely covered some good stuff in that class for sure. So very, very good. Chris Ramator is on. Chris, what's going on? Chris Puka joined. Chris, what's going on? 2 Chris's in a row. Joe is here. Joe, how's it going? Pat, what's going on, man? Thomas, how are you? Steve just joined. Steve, how's it going? Steve is in the beta. Alex is here. He's in the beta. What's going on, guys? Yeah, so a lot of these guys were just on the live with us where we were doing the chatbot bootcamp. Yeah, oh, very, very good. I learned a lot. I was always a little, like I started out in Chat Fuel. And then when like everybody was switching over to ManyChat and you and I started working together and stuff, I just stopped doing chatbots. Just like I found ManyChat a little confusing at first, but after after watching 3 days of Zach and Pat going through that stuff, I'm pretty confident now that I could just jump into that and just start building it. And that open house flow is pretty good too. So I don't know what changes you guys made from your original one, but it looks pretty, the new one looks much better. Sorry.
It's pretty epic. I think it's going to be something really valuable because it's really tough for somebody to come into an open house and give you fake information when they're logging in with Facebook.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty important. So Brett just joined. What's going on, Brett? I'm sure you heard. I basically started to say your last name and was like, nope, I pre-drank. We're not doing that. I'm not doing last names this time, even if they're simple.
Rakowski.
What's that?
Rakowski.
I know, but I started and I stopped, so I had to call attention to it. Otherwise, it was just everybody would notice. And then I didn't announce it, but whatever.
Brett's also a good guy. Does a lot of stuff. With Facebook, tons of clients. I think like close to 60 clients as well. So good guy. But yeah, so I think with the chatbot stuff, with that new flow, I think that's a great way to attract customers.
Yeah.
What a great tool to use that open house bot and demonstrate that to a real estate agent just to get your foot in the door. I think there's a lot of value there for sure. So everybody who was part of that class, we'll be uploading those new flows to the back end tonight. So watch out for those, probably after Whiskey Thursday here. I'll get working on that. So
for sure. And I think, not to get into client acquisition too soon, but I think you could use that bot, go to an agent's open house and use it. You know what I mean? Show it to them right there. Be like, oh, you're using a paper sign-in sheet. Great. What if you did this? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think it's a really cool tool to be able to use to demonstrate that. And even just posting it, because I see a lot, like I've seen other people do this on their news feed where they're posting like, do you want to see the open house chatbot, right? And just another great way of getting real estate agents inside of your bot. I think it's great. So
right on. Cool.
Maybe we should put some examples together of how to use that to acquire more subscribe, like real estate subscribers inside of your bot, so that you can then nurture them and push results to your subscribers and testimonials and things like that. So maybe we should do that inside the private group.
Yeah, that would be good. That'd be cool. We've already got a question. Anthony says, if only there was an app for that. Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Well,
hang on a second. Wait, you're promoting somebody else's company here, Anthony? Come on. It was his company. He sold it, bought it, sold it again. Like, what's up? What's the deal with him open house?
Oh man,
Anthony, you're a good guy, man. You're a good guy. Thanks for joining us tonight. So
there you go. Thomas, he has a question already. So, hey guys, I just finished a trial, spent $175, got him 80 leads. Now he wants a proposal for himself and 3 of his agents that work with him. Each want to close 33 deals this year. Trying to figure out what the conversion rates would be from leads to appointments, using ISA appointments and appointments to deals. Any advice on the conversion number?
So yeah, I like it if an ISA team is in place, just based on my own experience, typically we would suggest it, or we tell them or set the expectation for a 20% conversion rate of leads that are connected. So forever basically leads with good data, typically. So we're seeing about, in some cases, we're seeing anywhere like as high as 30%. But I remember that when we were working together way back and we were going through scripts and testing out different things.
Oh, yeah.
I had one ISA that was, booking like almost 4 appointments for every 10 calls that she was making, or 10 connections. But the problem was that the agents just weren't able to keep those appointments. The ISAs they get really, really good, especially if they follow the scripts. So now we typically use a conversion rate of about 20%. And I think that's pretty typical. I've seen higher, I've seen lower. We used to do 10% until we got Matt to rewrite our scripts. So
I'm working with somebody right now who's at 10%. And I went into their CRM. Thankfully, all their calls are recorded. So I was like, all right, I'm going to dive into these. I sent them a couple messages. And now they're like, oh gosh, what do we need to fix? Because it was just like, oh, these are a mess. They're a mess. Like,
did you listen to the calls?
To their calls? Yeah. Yeah. They have it all recorded through Firepoint. So I went into his CRM and I started listening to this stuff. I'm like, ooh, this is rough.
So what was what I know what works, obviously. Now we know what works, right? And we also, one of the things that was really cool is that when we were tracking appointments, I could tell when the ISAs were going off script. And because we set, we get 30 leads in a day, we set a certain amount of appointments. The next day we get 30 leads, we set a certain amount of appointments. Next day we get 30 leads, and then all of a sudden, no appointments. Following day, no appointments. All of a sudden you start listening to the calls, and the ISAs are off script. They're basically making up their own stuff, or they're just not comfortable with what they're supposed to be saying. So absolutely, they start thinking it's, their way is the better way. So what was some of the big? I know that when you and I first started working together on the scripts, you pointed out a number of different things based on the calls that you heard. What were some of the big problems that you found?
So some of the immediate things were just the introduction, right? It was fumbled so bad, and it sounded like a telemarketer. It just wasn't good. Hi, this is such and such with, this company and blank realty, because they have their team and then they have the realty company. So they're like, hi, this is such and such with blank company and then realty. I'm calling today because you had a request, like all this. It's like, no, just get right into the hi, how are you? Call their name out. Like, Shane, hey, how are you? Like right there. And then they can question things. And while they're questioning things, then you can go into stuff, right? So instead of having this long, I think it was 12-second introduction or something like that. And I'm like, that is just not going to work. I'm like, you need to say, hi, is this Shane? Hey, Shane, how are you? And then go into this is such and such with blank team and realty.
Yeah.
So that was one of the initial things. Because if you start off with negative rapport, it's just not good, right? It's one thing to start off without rapport, but to have somebody on their toes right at the beginning makes things really difficult. So, I mean, that was one of the initial things that was oh, okay, fix that. And then they would start asking these questions, right? They're asking some of the questions that are in the script, and the first one or two would be okay, but then they wouldn't build any rapport. If the person said, huh, or what, they kind of they fumbled. They were like, oh, yeah, they didn't want to repeat themselves or something. It was almost like they weren't yet comfortable with the scripts. And so they would go to the next question, and then the person would be like, what do you need that info for? If you sound super insecure on the phone, people pick up on that,
Yeah.
And they're going to respond as if they're talking to somebody who's super insecure on the phone. So the first thing I asked them was, are you still doing your weekly role plays? And I already knew the answer, right? I already knew the answer, but I said, are you still doing your weekly role plays? No, we haven't done that in a minute. I'm like, you haven't done that in a year, according to these calls. So I said, that's the first thing, is you guys need to start role playing your calls and get back into it, because your level of comfort on these calls is just, gone. Right.
Yeah. And I think another big, one of the big things you told me when we first,
Chris Hollis just joined. Chris, what's going on, man? Sorry, a friend of mine from Michigan.
Oh, hey, Chris, how's it going? Friend of Matt's. One of the things that you told me, which was really interesting, was the mindset going into these calls, right? And a lot of our ISAs, their mindset was they were as they were going into the calls, they had already concluded that the lead wasn't going to convert, right?
Yeah.
And when I listened to old calls from back then and new the calls we make now, what a difference. And on top of it, as the ISAs get better and better and they learn their scripts and they get more comfortable on the phone, and then you do a little bit more coaching with them. The conversations, when I listen to the conversations now, they're a lot more friendlier. They're a lot more they're digging into, other questions. I was listening to one call the other day, and the guy's traveling, and, immediately when the guy says, well, it's not really a great time right now. I'm traveling. It's oh, really? Where are you? Right away. Right. It's instead of saying, okay, no problem. When can I call you back? They asked another question, that was specific to that comment or to that answer, right? So, and then they dig into that. And like that phone call lasted almost 20 minutes, yet the guy said, hey, listen, this is not a good time.
Exactly. I mean, these are people that we're talking to. And responding to questions is a big part of listening, which is another thing that I noticed that they weren't doing, because I went into the appointments they're setting, and yeah, they're setting 10%. They're excited about it and whatnot, but I'm like, let's listen to some of these calls. Like there was a call where it was somebody saying, I don't have the money, I don't have a job, but I'm interested in buying a house. Like, okay, that's great. And you can help that person get into a situation where they can, purchase a home in the future. But that's not let's go meet with this person today and sign them up to go buy houses, right? Like you're just going to upset your agents. And so I was like, what are you doing? Well, I thought it was a good appointment. I'm like, well, you're not listening, because if you listened to that call, you would have heard those things and you would have known this person is not ready to buy. This person is fine to send a list of homes to, right? Send them a list of homes, help them, if you have a massive email database, you could send out an email saying, hey, we've got one of our clients is looking for a new position or looking for a new job. Here's what they do, right? You never know what's going to happen with that. You can help them out, but you're not going to help them by giving them false hope at a meeting about a house they can't purchase, right? And as they dove into it, like there was nothing to indicate that this person would have in the future been able to purchase a home. And they probably could have dug
and you're really pissed off, and you're going to piss off the agents. I mean, those are they're not qualified leads, right? So
exactly.
And so I was thinking the other day, what I'm going to do is probably record a couple more conversations that the team is doing, because I still have the one person doing the same phone calls, and the difference from 6 months ago to now, and the type of conversations we're having with the leads that we're generating is so different. So I'll probably record a couple more calls and drop those into the student program so people can actually listen to those, or anybody that's about the script stuff. Anyways, let's move on to something else. Talk about scripts.
Yeah. So the three topics that people really wanted to hear about were client acquisition, converting leads, and ad copy. We've already kind of started with converting leads. We'll come back to that in a minute. Let's talk about ad copy. Did
we answer Thomas's question?
Oh, no, I don't think we did actually. So what are the rates that we would use? Trying to figure out what the rates are.
Oh, right. Yeah, we did answer that. So 20%.
Leads to appointments, 20%. Appointments to deals should be, appointments to deals is actually not the metric you're going to use. You're going to use appointments to sign contracts, right? Buyer agency or listing, depending on what they are. And you should have probably, depending on the agent's skill, if you want a conservative number, go with like 50%. Most agents should be converting around 70%. So if they're good at what they do. So then out of those,
you're talking about a buyer rep.
Yes. Yep. Which, buyer reps are very simple appointments. With our team, it was pretty unlikely that somebody would come in, sit through a buyer presentation, and then not sign on with us. Usually if they didn't sign on with us, it's because the agent didn't feel comfortable enough to ask. So if you figure 70% of those buyer agencies contracts are being signed, and 50% of those are actually turning into closed deals. So hopefully that kind of helps on the metrics there.
And it's so different everywhere. One agent's success rate is going to be really different than another agent. And the more and more I do this, the more I see it, like how good some agents are, and then just how not so good other agents are. And part of that is experience. The other part of it is just personality. Yeah. I spoke to, I don't know if I mentioned this to you or not, but we have a big client that we've been working with for the past 6 months, possibly even longer now, so maybe 9 months or so. Those leads go through our system, they get qualified, follow-ups and things like that. But they have another lead flow where they're doing about 1,000 leads, I believe every quarter or so. And those leads are split up with all their agents. And so I was talking to the client, basically the team leader, and he's like, I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to switch everything over to Facebook because we're seeing better results. And like, he was asking me, like, Joe, I just have like a team of crappy agents that are just not able to convert leads. I'm like, maybe best thing for you to do is just to pick up the phone and start calling your leads. And so we set up a whole new campaign for him, like just for him. And we sent half the leads to him and then half the leads to the rest of his team. And in the first 12 hours, he ended up, I think he booked 6 or 7 appointments. In the first 3 days, he booked 3 listing appointments out of the leads that we were firing off to him. And then nobody on his team booked an appointment. Like it was just, so, his personality is completely different. Obviously, I mean, he's definitely a good agent. You don't do, 650 deals a year because you're a shitty agent.
Right.
But, it just goes to show that there are some agents that are much, much better than others. We had AJ here on the show.
15% conversion rates.
The guy's doing 15% conversion rate from Facebook leads. So it's just crazy, right?
Love it.
And with him, the way we do his leads, we basically build out a campaign and we spend like $300, $400, $500 in 4 days or 3 days, whatever it is, and he just sits on the phone nonstop all day long for those 3 days and books himself solid for the next month. And the last time we talked to him, I think he had like 15 deals out of that one campaign, like something like 11 deals to the lender pre-qualified. Like it was just an awful lot.
Yeah.
From just that one campaign we ran, it was crazy. And he's crazy too, right? Like he'll go and I remember I was talking to him one day and he's like, I went to show the house. It was a condo he was showing to one of the leads. Mm-hmm. And then after the showing, he knocked on the 2 neighbors' properties to see if they would sell their houses.
Love it.
Like he's just that kind of guy, right? So
door knocking works, man. It works. It really does. I mean, I know that's a whole side tangent. But
yeah, my wife got her first clients through door knocking. First day, right away, like I think it was the first day she went out door knocking when she first started. She picked up her first client.
Yeah, I had a coaching client, and I think it was his first day as well. Picked up a listing for like $400K, like the first day out.
Definitely works. Yeah,
it totally does.
It's tough though. It's not an easy. That's a whole other. Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. We have a couple questions. We got a bunch of questions. We'll get to those in a minute. Social Sonia says, "What's up, guys? What's going on, Sonia?" Again, if you guys are watching, Daniel says, "Sup, everyone? What's going on, Daniel?" If you guys are watching, let us know where you're watching from. Also, we're curious. We're probably going to put a poll in the group about starting this whole Whiskey Thursday thing at 8 p.m. Versus 9 p.m. Eastern time. So let us know your thoughts in the chat here, and we'll see if it's worth putting a poll up. But yeah, so Shane.
Yeah, and let's just explain. First of all, we're getting part of it is we're getting really, really busy, so we're getting really tired. Even
true.
This week's just been crazy. We've been going. The entire team's been going nonstop from early in the morning till 8, 9 o'clock at night every single day. We've been doing this for the past couple of weeks. Today we had training all the way up till 8:30. And then it was quick dinner, get the kids to bed, and then hop on whiskey.
Wait, you got dinner?
Oh yeah, I haven't eaten yet. So we're part of it is we're thinking of getting whiskey or starting Whiskey Thursday a little bit earlier. But the other thing too is that we think we can bring on some. It gets late for guests as well. Mm-hmm. Other guests that we want to bring on, it might be a little easier if we started up at 8 o'clock Eastern time.
Yep.
Whiskey Thursday was really meant for us to be drinking. That's how it started, right? It was like our evening meetings.
Right.
Let's just go live.
I mean, that was pretty much how I was born. We were like, we're chatting on like Thursday nights because it just kind of works out that way each week. Let's turn this into something. And now it seems to be something I think everybody likes. Well, I mean, let us know. Is it something you enjoy?
And Austin was the one that was drinking whiskey, right?
No, it was me.
Oh, was you?
I think it was Austin and myself.
I think it was Austin that was drinking whiskey, and that's how we came up with the name.
I don't drink anything but whiskey.
I know. Well, you went that night, whatever night that was.
But yeah, that was a good time. Okay, so anyways, now that we got that out of the way, so the 3 topics everybody wants covered: client acquisition, converting leads, and ad copy. Shane, I'd like to dive into ad copy first.
Go nuts.
So ad copy. Well, I guess we should ask more about what the questions were about the ad copy.
You're the one that put the poll.
I know, right? I should have asked a little bit more. What are your questions about ad copy? Right?
Oh yeah, well, okay, two things about ad. Well, okay, so a couple things about ad copy. One of them is Matt loves to keep it really, really short, and it seems to work.
True.
It's, I mean, we're doing quite well with short copy. I think as things move on and things change with everything that's going on with the targeting and stuff like that, the copy is going to make a big difference. Facebook's reading that copy, so it's put in front of the right people. So I think the idea of expanding on the ad copy and writing long copy, I think, is going to become more and more important. One thing that we did a recent test with the emojis, because I know I get this question a lot. Like, do you guys use emojis? Should we be using them? Should we not?
Sorry, Shane. Shane. Pat just said your scripts worked. The broker I'm working with, worst agent, sold 5 homes in a month, and it has 8 that would likely sell in a month. She probably wasn't expected to sell more than 5 in a year. That's awesome. That's what Pat just said.
Pat who?
I said I'm not doing that.
That's it. I did that on purpose.
I said I'm not doing
I know exactly who that is.
So I figured.
That's awesome, Pat. Good stuff. That's good stuff. I'm glad you're enjoying those scripts. So that's great. And thanks for supporting us and picking those up. Pat was already doing amazing. Like he's already converting an amazing amount of leads. Yeah. But I'm glad that the scripts are working. Hey, Pat, I'm curious to know, are you taking those scripts and handing those to the agents you're working with? I'd be curious to know how you're handling that. And that's kind of another, I think a lot of marketers, especially the students that we're working with and stuff, it's like, how do you position yourself as the person that actually knows better? And to say to an agent that's been doing this for 10 years and say, hey, listen, use these scripts. Don't do what you've been doing. That's tough,
It is.
Yeah.
It's really tough. And I was listening to a couple of podcasts earlier today, just about like training agents and stuff. And it's interesting, like how many of them won't work out. Right. And I would wager to say a good portion of them that don't work out are because they refuse to do what works. Right. It's uncomfortable. And people don't like to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Top copy working across the board. Okay. So, I mean, my copy is pretty simple. I'm going to call out a location, and then I'm going to announce whatever list I'm using, because I would say 99% of the time I'm using a list, right? Homes list. So, like, call out the location, Oakland County home buyers, something like that. Then what kind of list I'm using. Like, check out this list of homes below 250K, right? And then I'd use 3 features typically. And I go back and forth between using 3 features I think they're really going to like and 3 features that sound great but are not in the pictures, right? Because I want them to click through and submit their information. So, I mean, usually 3 features, and then some sort of fear of missing out, like don't miss this list. These homes sell within hours, right?
You should have brought the copy up in front of you.
I know. But like, don't miss this list. These homes sell in hours. And then like the bottom line will be like, click, learn more. And I always use learn more as the call to action, but click learn more to get started now, or to see more information or more details, whatever. So, I mean, that's the copy I typically use. And I don't know, Shane, I mean, you've seen it. It works ridiculously well in a lot of places. And occasionally there'll be somewhere where it's not really working well. And they'll be like, Shane, will you do this copy? and he'll throw in some long form stuff that crushes it. Although I have seen some of your short form crush it as well. So
short copy, not form. It's not form, it's copy.
Long copy. I'm sorry.
Long copy. And, to be honest, it's really not that long. I just switch up some of the things. So the way I typically the way I write my copy, and I base this on one. It's actually the copy is actually inside the group somewhere. If you go way back, like when we first started the group, I actually posted some of these ads. So one specific ad, which I actually didn't write the copy. My wife wrote it, and we took I took the one I wrote, she wrote one herself, and then we tested the two of them, and hers won. And by quite a bit. Like, you know, I think I was generating $5 leads in a very tough area of Ontario. And then hers was generating leads at about $3.25 or so from her copy. And in fact, the copy is used. I've seen videos from other people that have posted videos on YouTube, and they're using that same copy. So it's gotten a little famous. But the point of the copy, I don't think the copy was actually what
Shane got funnel hacked. Hashtag Shane got hacked.
That's fine. I was posting the copy. Go nuts. I did take it, right? But I really don't think that the copy was necessarily what was working. I think it was more of first of all, the price point of the area and what we were using, and also the positioning of the prices inside of the. So it was basically a homes list. But
careful, don't give away too much information here. I kind of place.
You just have to. It's in the group. You go look for it, and you just got to go find it.
I had a direction I was going with it. I just want you to cover the long copy. I'm taking this somewhere.
Well, I mean, all it is that I just position the pricing a little differently, and then I'll usually build the 3 ads with 3 different price points if I'm doing a homes list, and then I'll just test out which one it is. So we did when about a year ago or so, I was really big on doing a lot of surveys with buyers and sellers. So I had 4 clients with client lists of about anywhere between 800 to 2,500 clients, and we just surveyed all the clients, specifically on the buyer side. And the number one thing that came back from those surveys that people cared about was price. So that was the number one thing across the board, whether it was coming in under budget, or finding a house on a good deal on a house, finding a house that I can afford, anything like that. Was always something about the price, and that was the number one thing. The second thing that came up the majority of the time was, and these were kind of tied, but it was location and move-in ready. Those are the next 2 things that people really cared about, just based on these surveys that we did. So when I build my ad copy, it's always like I really focus on 2 things. First, when I build the ad, I always focus on 2 things. One of them is pricing, and the other one's pictures. So those are the 2 things we test all the time. So my pricing, like I'm doing a homes list and I say, hey, under 469,000, it's like the first line. So I call it the audience. Then the next line's like, say $40,000 homes below the regional, or homes below 469,000, 50,000 below the medium average, or something like that, right? Like I'll put that in the first line, and then I go into the call to action right after that, and then underneath all that, then there's a bunch of other information. But that's pretty much. And then I test out, like I'll do like 429, 469, 489. And then test out those price points, and that's worked really well. So the one ad that's in the group somewhere, I ran that campaign for 11 months and nonstop, never changed the images, never changed the copy, and we averaged leads at about I think it was like 380 for the entire time, and never stopped. And I duplicated that. Like that's worked in multiple areas. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you just got to try something different. Sometimes the pictures, right? Sometimes you're missing some emojis. It's all about testing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one of the cool things that Facebook has created that not a lot of people are using yet, and even myself, I'm not using it a ton yet, but dynamic creatives. I think there's a lot to them. You can do a lot of testing really fast with those. So it'd be definitely something I'd be looking into if you're running ads right now.
And the other thing too is one of the big things that we've noticed, like you and I, Matt, it really is about the offer. At the end of the day, it's
that's where I was going. That's where I was going. Whatever, guys. I'll sit back. Go ahead, Shane. You got this.
No, go nuts. I'm going to take a break.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is your ad copy is only describing your offer, right? So it is limited in how great your copy can be if your offer sucks. You can write the greatest copy, but if your offer absolutely sucks, don't expect a ton of leads. Don't expect them at a great price. I mean, that really is, I would say, the biggest key is what is the offer? What is the hook that people are like, ooh, okay, yeah, I'm willing to trade my email and phone number for this information. Right? That's what ad copy comes down to for Facebook ads. For real estate.
I did a recent, you probably saw it in the private group.
Mm-hmm.
We were running like this one campaign, $5 leads, way too expensive for what we were doing in the area that we were doing. I'm like, screw this. Like, I'm going to go out. And we went out and I found, I was able to find some homes that were recently listed and way below market value. And those are the ones I ended up using, of course, with permission as usual. But I ended up, just the way I built the actual offer and let people know that you're saving a ton of money. These homes have recently been listed. They're under market value. They're going to disappear quick. Make sure to hop on this. The leads went from $5 to like $2.10. Like, it's, again, it really is all about the offer. New construction, that was another big one. Like when we were building new construction ads, a lot of times you get the builders, they have offers, they got incentives that you can use all that inside your copy. They make great ads. We've done other ones with one of the ads that I built not long ago, which was, and I really like to use these, which is the estate sales. They just, I don't know what it is, but people love estate sales.
Yeah.
Well,
they know it's somebody that may or may not be emotionally connected with the sale,
or they just think they're going to get an awesome deal.
Exactly. Because if the person is not emotionally connected with the sale, they're not sitting there looking at this house going, I grew up in here. I raised kids in here. I did all this stuff in this house. Like, this house doesn't represent wood and fixtures. It represents memories. And so therefore it has to be worth all this money. Like a lot of sellers will think. People that, they've inherited the house. They're like, oh my gosh, I've been trying to get them to move into a home for years. Like, finally get this thing out of here. And people know that. And that's why they're looking for that amazing deal on an estate sale.
The one I ran, like a while back for AJ, and that one's actually in the private group and inside the course. That thing, like, it was generating, you remember that, right? We were generating leads at like one lead every 11 minutes was the average. And not
your ad spend was not insane. That, like, yeah, you can generate those kind of numbers with insane ad spend, but you were running like normal ad spend. It was like, whoa.
Yeah, and the other thing too, I threw it in a couple of the local groups as well, and on the marketplace. Remember that we were having conversation, like we were talking that one night, and it, like, my messenger was just like, it was going crazy. I couldn't keep up anymore. I ended up having to delete the ad, like, for the free one. I was just testing out the marketplace and
the groups. I remember that, and you're like, how do I get all these like personal messages to?
Well, that was the other thing too. That was a great tip actually that you had told me. So what I did is I took that ad, I threw it up in the marketplace, and I threw it up in a couple of the local groups just to help out my clients, just get more leads, right?
Yeah.
So the messages were coming in, and I remember that you and I were on the phone, we were talking, and I built that it wasn't a landing page. It was, I'd asked you the question like, hey, how do I get their phone number? Right? Like, what's the best thing I should tell them? So basically what you told me was just respond saying, hey, listen, we're getting an overwhelming amount of requests. Can I text you the information? And like almost, I would say like 70% of the leads that we were getting from the marketplace and from the private groups using that line, basically saying, we're overwhelmed with the amount of requests. Can I text you the information? Every single one of them would drop their phone number.
I remember that. I remember that because you were like, what do I do with all these? And I was like, well, try this, try this and see if you can get some leads out of it.
I spent that entire night. I did. Yeah. I spent that entire night, like, manually inputting all that information into the client's CRM so he could get it.
And those were some of the deals he was closing or working with or whatever.
Yeah. There was a lot of them.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. Let's see. We've got a bunch of questions. I'm just going to pick out a couple, and then we'll try and get through all of them in a little bit. We did top copy. What was the one I just saw a second ago? It was in here. I liked it too. 1 second. Let's see. How are you guys round robining leads between multiple agents? Well, I mean, if we have multiple agents, usually it's in the CRM. Lion Desk can do it. Firepoint can do it. Follow Up Boss can do it. A lot of them have a, what do they call it? Lead routing.
Lead routing, but it's, yeah. And then you just lead routing. And then some of them actually call it round robin.
Oh yeah, no, it's called round robin, but it's usually under a lead routing tab.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, here it is. Can you give an example of some of your features? Yeah, I mean, they're simple. 3-bed, 2-bath. Has a beautiful fireplace, in-ground pool, heated, detached 2-stall garage, attached 2-stall garage, man cave. Whatever. Actually, I'm trying to think. Can you say man cave? I don't know.
You might have been able to 6 months ago. Maybe.
Yeah, HUD is just, they are on the rampage right now.
Might not be able to say any of that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of the features I like to use is
Thomas, I'm sorry. Thomas just asked Lion Desk follow-up boss ? Yeah, those are CRMs. So if you look up real estate CRMs, Lion Desk, follow-up boss, Firepoint, those are all CRMs that have lead routing abilities, and round robin is one of those. Sorry, what were you going to say, Shane?
I was just going to say one of the big features I always use is the kitchen. So one of the things I like, if we're doing listings, I always want to find a home that has a finished or updated kitchen or something like that, because it's typically, people love kitchens. And it's crazy because you want to get into the kitchens, right? Like
get into the kitchen thing again.
Get into the kitchen. So
Anthony, are you here still?
Anthony's still here. You know what the crazy part is, which is cool. I think it's totally cool. And I think on, I wouldn't actually mind testing this, using the kitchens as pictures just to see.
I may be testing
but I did, there's been some students inside the private group that have been using kitchens. I've been seeing their ads, and they're testing out kitchens, which is kind of cool. So, maybe a great tip, Anthony, and you might as well test everything, right? Like if kitchen pictures are going to increase the intent, then, why not?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I think we've really learned about copy and creative is test everything. Like, you don't know what's going to work. Testing everything is how the October 3rd masterclass, the foreclosure class, whatever you want to call it, how that ad set came about, was testing everything. And one night I decided, all right, I'm going to throw this together and see what it does. And next thing I know, I've got 25 leads for 70 cents a piece or something like that, 60 cents a piece. It was like, what just happened? And
we've got, we honestly, okay. So, as things slow down here the next couple months, hopefully they
Anthony
will.
says, oh, now you like kitchens.
That's Matt. Anthony, that was all Matt. Like, I think you're cool, Anthony.
I think he's cool too. I was just really skeptical about the kitchen thing until he was able to say, no, we've got data. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because there's a lot of people that talk in Facebook groups, right? Yeah. And I was just like, is this dude's legit? Anthony's for sure legit. And so I'm testing a couple of kitchen images. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, you are, eh? Oh,
I am.
Look at you.
I am. I'm growing.
You're growing.
I may not have been 100% correct.
So I was going to say, as things slow down here over the next, I don't know how much they're going to slow down, but as we sort of, wrap up some of these other projects we got going on, we need to test that seller campaign we were talking about not long ago.
Oh, yes.
With, because that seller campaign, I think, would kick ass.
Yeah.
So guys, watch out for this, because this is one of Matt's, I don't know what you would call it, but
my brainchild. I don't know.
Yeah, this genius idea. I don't think it's something anybody's doing.
No, nobody's doing it. I've not ever seen it. There's been similar to the foreclosure done years ago. There's been nothing similar to this that I've seen. So,
I don't know.
It may flop. It may flop, and if it does, this will be the only time you ever hear about it.
Well, and then the other thing you have got to do then is trying to figure out how to convince the clients to actually run this. So
that's always a question, right? But,
again, we'll have to test it out. Yeah.
So cool. Okay, so we've got 2 more topics to cover. Let's get to those, and then we've got a bunch of questions to answer. Brent says we need it in the beta group. Brent, if it works, you guys will get it. Don't worry. Let's see here. Converting leads. It's funny. We go ad copy, converting leads, and client acquisition. Like ad copy. If you don't know ad copy and you really want to learn something that's going to crush it for you, just go get the October 3rd masterclass. If you want to learn how to convert leads, go get the conversion mini course. Like, you could literally go get those 2 courses and they would probably suffice you for quite some time in your business, and they'd at least make enough money to get to the beta program where you're going to get everything else you need.
Yeah, and definitely at least get you started. I think that right now with the October 3rd masterclass, I think right now it's like 70% of the leads that we run or the ads that we run now, we use that copy.
Yeah.
It
really is.
Like we just built out another 130 ads just recently, and that it's the exact same ad. The only thing we're changing is pictures. That's it. That's all we're doing now. And
and it's weird because a few people have tried to change the copy on that and it just has not worked. Yeah. Well, you tried.
I've changed it because for the Canadian market, I had to change it because the wording's a little different. So that was it. Daniel changed it as well. And I actually like the copy that he used for it, which I think.
Did you?
Yeah, and it's inside the private group. So,
okay.
And I actually want to, like, someday we should test that out. And I think we have some budget with some clients to be able to test that with. But I think with his copy, it changes it may change the agent's perspective. The agent's perspective about what kind of leads this may generate. So the interesting thing, I actually had an agent today, and I was talking to them about hey, what kind of campaigns do you want us to run? Do you want us to turn back on the homes list, or do you want us to do a couple more listings, or do you want us to keep running the same ad we've been running from the October 3rd masterclass? And they're like, no, we don't want to run anything else but this one. The leads are way easier to convert. Like, we're getting everything from people that can't afford homes to people that are looking for $700,000, $800,000 homes. When we're doing the homes lists, like, we're finding it's people that are looking for that sort of price range, and a lot of people are just they're kind of clueless about the market. And then if you're running a homes list at $499, you get people that are looking for homes at $300. A lot of people looking for homes at $300. So we just don't want to do that. And then the listing campaigns we still run because, like, we promote the agent doing that, and they generate really decent leads. But for, like, a lot of leads and that, like, to keep up that lead flow, this specific agent didn't want us to run anything else but that.
Makes sense.
And they were very, very skeptical at the beginning. Very skeptical.
I have another one. He was very skeptical, a friend of mine. And I was like, dude, test it out. And he texted me the other day, and I said, how are leads going? He says, going well. 3 or 4 have been set to appointments out of 10 so far. One was a $400K to $600K cash buyer. So it's like our median home price is $250 in this area.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And I've heard of people getting not cash buyers, getting buyers, $700, $800, $900K. I'm not sure if people are getting $1 million or not on that. If you're using the October 3rd masterclass formula, whatever you want to call it, let us know what's the highest price purchase lead you've had come in, as far as, like, what were they looking to purchase? Was it $1.5 million or 700K? What was it? So I'd love to hear
everything. Like, you're getting, we're getting investors, we're getting listings, we're getting plus, like, for a lot of our campaigns, we're using the custom audiences that we've built for the homeowner custom audiences that we've built. So we're getting a lot, like, the leads are still relatively cheap, but, like, we're getting 60, 70, 80% homeowners inside of those. So,
which is, that's
unbelievable.
It is. It's outstanding.
Even for $4 or $5 in a major metropolitan area, like,
think about if you're just hitting 50%, because the average that we've seen is about 15 to 20 with open targeting. 15 to 20% end up being homeowners, right? And we're able to bump that up to 50, 60, consistently 50, 60, right? So, like, every 2 leads has a home that they may potentially be interested in selling. It's pretty awesome. Let's go into converting leads, right? We kind of covered that at the beginning. People have questions on converting leads. I'm curious, and we'll go back to the audience on this. Are you interested as far as converting leads for yourself, or for, like, the clients that you're working with? And when we say for yourself, are you an agent or a marketer? Like, who's trying to convert what?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
I think it's converting real estate leads to
so too.
appointments, right?
Yeah.
Is that what everybody's talking about? Let's just assume it is. we'll go forward with that. Shane, I think we go back to you as far as like, what did we change from what you guys were initially doing to what brought you into really conversion?
Well, okay, I think part of like, okay, so if we take a step back to, when you kind of first get into this industry as a marketer, it's like, hey, I'm going to generate a bunch of leads. I generated a bunch of leads and now I got them all to my client and we should see some results, right? The reality is that that's not the reality. It takes an awful lot of effort to work through these leads, to convert the leads, to follow up with them, to, one of the, two big things that we did that helped us convert more leads to appointments was obviously changing our scripts. Hiring Matt was a big one. Changing our scripts.
I was affordable.
Yeah, you were. And then just changing the way we were doing our calls was another big one. But the reality is you just have to pick up the phone. Like you've got to make phone calls. I just, so many people are, either relying on automation or they're making one phone call. I mean, we have agents making.
Hang on, Shane. I'm getting I just got a weird thing on my, I don't know if I think you can hear me. If you guys can hear me below, just put a 7 or something in the chat. My thing just came up with a microphone error. Can you hear me? I think you're messing with me because you did it at the perfect time. Okay, cool. Can everybody else out there, can you hear me? Is this working well? All right, I've got 1.7. Okay, so I'm guessing we're gonna get more. Cool. All right, sorry, continue. I just didn't want to
You lost me now. I don't even know I don't remember where I was.
Well, you were talking about getting on the phone. You just have to get on the phone.
Oh yeah, I mean, so just getting on the phone. I mean, we have some agents that make one phone call and then send one text message and then they give up, and it's like then you get that all the leads are bad because nobody's picking up the phone. Okay, well that's the first problem. You got to make more phone calls. Yeah. And then we have some agents that are making countless attempts. They're basically just trying. They'll make phone calls. They'll send text messages out, and yeah, you're not going to get a hold of all the leads, but you're going to get a hold of a big chunk of them, right? Yeah. And we know this works because we do it ourselves. My wife does it. I watch her every single day, 3 to 4 hours a day, working through her leads and calling leads. We run Facebook ads for her. I watch other clients do it. We watch their call logs and the data. And then the teams that we work with that do the phone calls, we know that it works because they're converting leads. It's just a matter of picking up that phone. And that's a big, I have a lot of empathy for real estate agents that are doing this because this is empathy. It's not easy, right?
Empathy, but not sympathy, right?
Right, empathy, yeah. But not
you have the opportunity to make well into 6 figures here.
Right, but it's not easy. It really is not easy. No. It's a tough job, and for marketers to sit back and say, listen, I just sent you a bunch of fucking leads. How come you're not making phone calls? Fine, yes, as part of an agent, that's part of your job. But I would challenge a marketer to do what an agent needs to do in order to convert those leads. It is really tough. You know this, Matt, yep. And I watch agents do it. It's really hard. It is not an easy job, especially, and I'm not saying that whether it's, but it's especially hard when you're running a business, because they're running a business, you're running around, doing listing appointments, buyers appointments, you've got coaches telling you to do something different. You're, spending money on other marketing strategies, and all these other things, right? It's not to say that there are some agents that don't do phone calls, they don't do their jobs and stuff like that, but the ones, it is tough. We worked with a client that was, doing his calls, but then he's going out to listing appointments, buyers appointments, he's trying to generate leads from other things. He's got referrals coming in. It's not an easy job. It really, really is. It's, so the solution to that is get somebody to call all these leads.
Yeah, it really is
part of it.
The hard part for agents is, when we have some business going, but we don't have consistent you know, a lot of agents, I guess the mindset that I had when I was going my first couple of years before, you know, I really kind of caught stride or whatever you want to say, you know, I didn't know what my next month's paychecks were going to, like, I kind of knew what was pending, but I didn't know like for sure if I was going to take enough listings this month. You know, it was kind of always wondering like, how much am I going to make? Am I going to be able to afford these services if I sign up? You know, Zillow wants a 6-month commitment. Can I do a 6-month commitment if the next 3 months go bare? Right. So it's a really tough spot to be in for an agent. And it's, I think, something marketers miss, right? They don't understand the struggles as an agent because they haven't been there. I mean, it takes a unique person to be able to withstand a 90-day sales period, right? Like as a marketer, we can throw up a post on our Facebook that shows some crazy results and message me for info. Somebody messages us and they can pay that day. Mm-hmm. You know, we might have to wait for Stripe to pay us in like a few days, but it's not like an agent who like they get messaged that day. Yes, I'm curious what my home is worth. Can you be out here next week? Sure. Well, next week they go out there. Yeah, we need to do some repairs, but we just want to get an idea of what we should do. Okay, cool. You know, we'll be done in like 90 days. We want to put it on the market in July. Perfect. They got to follow up until July. July comes around. We're not yet ready. So how about August? Okay, they follow up to August. August, they finally say, all right, we're ready. Let's get it on the market. They get it on the market, but they want too much money because they just put money into it. And so now they got to wait for that price decrease. And so now we're on the market for 90 days before it sells. It finally sells, and we've got 30 to 45 days until it closes, right? Mm-hmm. So when marketers are sitting here and they're like, I don't see why he doesn't want to pay me $3,000 after he just got a deal in process last month. It's because that deal may not close for 9 months. You know, like it's a lot of work. You have to remember that, right? And that's one of the things that we tell our clients right up front, like, hey, you need to have 6-month reserves on this, because if you're not going to be ready to go for 6 months without a closing, you know, 3 months at best, usually, not that we haven't had people have crazy stories. We had one person close a deal within 7 days. It was a cash buyer. It was crazy, but that's like a fluke, you know? Yeah. But like we make sure that people understand the process and what could happen and to be prepared for it. Right. And so I don't even know what brought us off on that tangent. I know we were talking conversions, but it's Whiskey Thursday. It's what we do.
I'm just listening to you.
Oh man. Anyways, going back to converting.
Where's your whiskey anyways?
What's that?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I thought it was apple juice.
No. Okay. It's I went red label this week. So what was I saying? Converting. Okay, so going back to converting, yeah, we said they got to get on the phone. You know, that is key. They have to get on the phone. You know, we just had this conversation in the chatbot course. Here's a little nugget we'll give you from the chatbot course. Chatbots are great, and they can be used to get people to a phone call. That's the best use of them. Get them to a phone call. So get them on the phone, use the scripts, say them right. Okay, don't just read the scripts. If you read the scripts, people are going to know you're reading the scripts. Okay, you have to know the scripts. You can have them in front of you in case you get tripped up, but you have to know the scripts, which means you have to memorize them as if you were an actor in a play.
Yeah, this is what we did when we were training ISAs. Like it was basically like at the end of the training. Well, basically they were trained once they were like they learned the script by heart. It's like as long as you didn't, if you could say the entire script without having it in front of you, you're basically trained.
Yep.
And now let's get you on a couple phone calls, and then you listen to the calls and you get a little bit more guidance and more coaching and so on.
Yep. When I have virtual assistants who are going to be on the phones and they had to memorize scripts, I said, hey, before I hire you, I'm going to give you, how much time do you need to memorize a script? They would say, X amount of days. Perfect. I will reach out to you in 3 days, whatever. And we're going to do a video call, and I need you to close your eyes and do the script. And that was how I knew whether or not they were going to learn the script. And a lot of them just like never learned the script. So it was an easy, like, nope, this isn't going to work. And actually, I don't think I told them I was going to make them close their eyes and be on video. I think I waited to see if they were ready. And then I went on video and made them close their eyes. And there's a lot that were like, I don't know it. And it was like, great. I wish you the best luck with your next client, because it won't be me. Like converting is not easy. It takes time. It takes effort. And
the other thing too, I mean, a lot of times we're working with agents that are just not properly trained. Nobody trained them.
Yeah.
Right. Like nobody worked with them, especially with cold leads. I mean, a couple of the offices I've worked with, they're really big on door knocking and, passing up postcards and that kind of stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Circle prospecting and, that's what they're big on, and that's what they train their agents to do. But as soon as you start filling up a pipeline full of cold leads from Facebook, they're just completely lost as to what to do and what to say or even how to follow up with them. So as a marketer, you need to be prepared. And this is something that we do with our clients is we coach them through a lot of this stuff. They're given the scripts, they're given coaching calls. We walked through them. If we're noticing that they're not, they're not booking any appointments, we get on the phone with them, we start coaching them, digging into the numbers, trying to figure out, where the problems are. And that's really, really important.
Yeah. I mean, you want to find out if they're using the scripts. First, ask them, how are the scripts going? Did you change anything in them that you thought might fit you better and make it playful?
Your first question should be, do you have any scripts? Can I see them?
Well, I make sure they have the scripts. I make sure they have the scripts. But then I say, did you change anything in those to make it more comfortable for you? And I say it really in a comfortable, it's okay if you did kind of, but really I'm about to be very upset if they did. But
so this was actually one of the things we're talking about. We're going to do for the group as well. Be curious to know if anybody that's watching be interested in this. But we were going to do a leads diagnostic inside of the big group. So inside of the Real Estate Marketing Conversion Mastery, if people are interested in that, where Matt goes through how we diagnose lead problems. This will be this is a free thing we're thinking of doing inside the group, because I've noticed a lot of people are coming into the group. It's like, hey, I did this, I generated 150 leads for my client. They're coming back to me now, day 6, day 7, they're telling me all the leads are garbage. What do I do? Right. So we go through a diagnostic process with the clients. And then Matt typically does this and dives into the numbers, but he's got a really good training that he does with some of our students. That might be really cool to do inside of the bigger group for everybody that's in there. 100% free, be something we could do.
Yep. And if you're interested in that, make sure to like the give us some hearts and some likes and some faces and stuff.
Matt likes the hearts.
I do. We need the hearts. No, somebody did just ask, please send me a PM when you're going live next time. Feel free to go in the group, go to the group description, which is on the right-hand side below invite members. And if you click see more, you'll see the notification button that you can subscribe to our bot that sends out the notifications that we're live. So, and then, we are going to get to questions at some point. We're having so much fun on these topics, I think. Are you guys having fun? I'm having fun. So,
I'm having fun.
I'm having a good time. I'm having I like talking this stuff, ad copy, converting the leads. This is what we got.
When you said this morning, it's because I said, what are we going to do for Whiskey Thursdays? Okay, I'm going to put a poll up in the group. Let's see what we're going to talk about. And you told me the topics. I was like, after the day I've had, are you kidding me? We're going to talk about this stuff. So, and it's this is not so bad though. It's 10:30. I've only been, we've only been working for 14 hours.
Yeah, right. But this is a good way to relax. This is this kind of topic right here is what we originally kind of started Whiskey Thursdays for, was because we were talking about this stuff and drinking whiskey on Thursday nights. Well, you were drinking wine. Austin and I were drinking whiskey.
That's right.
Austin had SoCo. I think he had Southern Comfort.
I'm a little bit more sophisticated.
Yeah. There you go. All right. People are saying we're awesome, having fun. Awesome. Great. Love to see it. So, converting leads, get them on the phone, say the right things, say it enough times, and you should, as a result, start converting some leads. And say it the right way, I would say, as well. Because there are, we could get into that, which is the tonality, the speed, the pace of the call, all those different things. But we'll save that for another time. We're an hour in because we still got to cover client acquisition and all these questions.
Let's wrap up. It's getting late.
All right. So
I'm not doing this for 2 hours.
Keep posting your questions because we're going to get to them all at some point. We're just going to go client acquisition next. And Shane, client acquisition, I think, my favorite client acquisition method is 100% just posting results. Posting your results. Like, let people see it, let them comment, and let them message you.
Okay, there's two ways to do client acquisition.
Yeah.
There is the broke marketer way.
Yeah.
And then there is the paid let's grow my business way, which is the normal way.
True.
That most like typical companies, grow their businesses, which is hiring salespeople and callers, and you start calling and dialing, companies, and that's like how you grow your business. You want to acquire clients, and scale your business. That's how you do it. You hire callers and get them to start generating appointments. Get a good sales guy, get a good closer.
Daniel just said that works for me every freaking time. Posting the results.
Yeah. So as a broke marketer, and I'm not saying broke as in like, I'm not making money, but I would still consider maybe not myself as a broke marketer, but as somebody who doesn't want to spend money hiring sales guys and then growing a sales team to go out and acquire clients. But this is the way we used to do it. This is like, in the days of no Facebook, or no LinkedIn. I mean, this is you hired a sales team and you grew your business like that. The other way to grow your business is acquire another business. I mean, that's just other clients, right? I mean, we've done that too, right? So, but I mean, yeah, definitely. What?
Pat says, I don't recommend live feeds being stoned for client acquisition.
Oh, come on, Pat.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. Laugh at that.
Okay, let's not even.
Anyways, continue, Shane. Sorry.
I didn't want to go there. So, I mean, I think for both of us, I mean, what's worked really well is putting ourselves out there, right? So posting testimonials, posting results, and I do both Facebook, LinkedIn as well. I've done a little bit of LinkedIn stuff. And just continuing to build that. It's a slow process. That's part of the issue, right? There's been I've done events, which have worked really well. So training events, nothing paid, just, go to a brokerage, do a training, like a lunch and learn or something like that. The 7-day challenge that we had in the group was how I got started. I basically reached out to my sphere and I asked for recommendation or referrals. That's exactly how I got started. It's exactly how I got my first 2 biggest clients. And still considered very large clients compared to some of the clients we have now.
Very much so.
What's that?
Very much so.
Yeah, they were $6,000-$7,000 retainers, and I got that from referrals, from just reaching out to my sphere, asking people that I knew, that I worked with in the past, friends, family, and just letting them know, hey, I'm starting up a new company. If you know any real estate agents, let me know. And that was it. Like, and that's basically what we based the 7-day challenge on.
And Shane, did you know that those people knew the kind of agents that were going to turn into those 6 and 7K retainers?
No. And so, okay. So part of that,
I'm sorry, but because I think that's part of the thing is a lot of people think like, yeah, I know people, but like, they're not going to refer me agents that are going to pay me $5,000 a month, right? That's a limiting belief a lot of people have. And that's why I asked, did you know that those people knew those kind of people?
No. And the way I asked was, could you refer me to the top agents? Or I don't remember exactly how I asked it, but it was something like, can you refer me to like the best agent, or something like that, right? Like that's kind of how I worded it. So I think most people were just referring like people they had worked with or people they knew or their cousin or whatever, right? And I was just talking to everybody. But what the other thing too, in fact, one of my bigger clients actually didn't come directly from a referral. What it came from, which is something else that I really believe in, is finding your champions. And typically, your champion is somebody that is well connected in the community, well connected with other clients, somebody that you get along with, that you can nurture, help, provide more value, and this person will now start connecting you to other people they know. And so I met who I consider my champion now, and I have 2 of them specifically. And that person is who made the introduction to, one of the, actually he made, so far, I build his ads for free now. I still run ads for him for free.
Yep.
I don't charge anything. And I'm, people always say, don't work for free, don't work for free, know your value. Fuck that shit. That's such bullshit. It drives me crazy when people do that, because you really never fucking know. And I can tell you for a fact that the person I do ads for right now for free, once a month, maybe once every 2 months or so, I have generated, he's given me well over $100,000 a year in retainers. And he has made some of the biggest introductions I've ever been able to get. Provincial clients, state clients, he's very, very well plugged into, some very, very large brokerages, and I still run ads for him for free to this day. And I do the same with another client, same exact thing for another client, where I charge very, very little, but I get referrals nonstop from him.
Yeah. And I think that's something that people miss. Like, go back to, your grandpa's days, right? When they wanted this job so bad, right? That they're like, I'll work for you for free just to learn how to do it. Like, that's kind of the mentality, right? I'll work for you for free, not just to learn how to do it in this case, but like, because I want your recommendations, I want your stamp of approval. And I won't go into the whole champion thing, because that is kind of reserved for the beta, but it's such an epic theory that I think kind of changes. It gives you a big advance in your client acquisition strategy.
So when I was 22 years old, I learned this. This whole idea about a champion, it's not something new. We used to use this in when we were doing sales for big corporations and stuff like that. It's always like, you go in, find your champion. That champion is the one that's going to drive your sale within a large corporation, right? And we used to do this a lot. And we'd search for that champion. And as soon as we'd identify that champion, that's who we would nurture. And that's the person that would start driving the sale within, internally, right? So I applied the same concept. So when I was 22 years old, I learned this because we were doing a really large deal with a large telecom company, and the sales guys working with said that guy's your champion. That's the guy you need to nurture. So I started applying the same concept to other clients as well. When I was 22 years old, I landed a client, and we generated I think we did $1.9 million worth of business. We did just under $1 million in the first 6 months with these guys by just having a champion inside of that company that drove the business. And he was basically the advocate for us, right? He's the one that was providing the referrals and talking to the owners. And, he's like, this is the company you have to use for, this is the company you have to use, right? And so it's the same thing that we use now to drive more business towards us, right? Plus, these guys are giving you referrals, they're giving you testimonials. They'll pick up the phone anytime a client calls. Anyways, I love my champions.
And your method with champions is something that I'm still working on it as well, because I think it's something that I missed getting started. And I think, if you imagine rolling a snowball down the hill, right, and that's your client acquisition strategy, slowly building and building and building. This champion strategy kind of takes you halfway down the hill as a starting point.
So here's another tip too with client acquisition, and I think a lot of people miss this, especially marketers, because a lot of us are very technical. Keeping that pipeline full of client opportunities is so important. We go through, and I've in a couple of my own businesses, I've done this where I've gone from getting a ton of clients, and then all of a sudden all those clients just dropping off. And then I'm back at square one again. I'm start doing my marketing and sales, and then I get a ton of clients, get really busy, and my marketing drops off. So then slowly clients drop off, right? So one of the things that's really critical is keeping that pipeline full of client opportunities all the time. One thing I always suggest is making sure that you're always consistent with your client acquisition. So whether you're spending 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day or 2 hours a day, you're always, whatever that is, whatever way that is, you're at least doing something to acquire clients. Not necessarily signing deals, but you're going out having more conversations, or you're sending more cold emails, or you're posting more on Facebook with results and testimonials and whatever else that is, or you're doing the cold calls. Do that every single day, keep your pipeline full of opportunities. And over time, those opportunities keep closing. And then you start getting busy, but don't stop your client acquisition. Keep doing the client acquisition. Keep that pipeline full.
Yeah, I would say typically if somebody is really struggling on client acquisition, 99% of the time, if not 100, the issue has been a lack of accountability somewhere in their systems, a lack of accountability in their actions, really. Like their goal, their actions doesn't match their goal, right? They're trying to hit this 10K month consistently, like right off the bat, and their actions don't match that goal at all, right? If your actions don't match your goals, you're not going to hit them. It's just never going to happen. It's not a fluke that you acquire clients for the most part, right? You might get one because you were talking to somebody and somebody overheard it, but you're not going to build a business off of a fluke, right? If you want to acquire clients, it takes accountability. It takes, perseverance and tenacity. Like you have to move forward with whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter if it's cold email. It doesn't matter if it's cold calling, like whatever it is, you have to be accountable and you have to consistently do it. You have to consistently build that pipeline, nurture that pipeline, and take them through the sales process to becoming a client, right? Another thing I think that kills client acquisition for a lot of people is they start out, like you said, they're not willing to work for free. They have to get paid in their mind, and they're charging way too much for what they can provide, right? So, and maybe not for what they can provide. I shouldn't say that. They're charging too much for what they believe they're worth. Okay. So they have it in their head, like, I'm going to go charge $5,000, but they don't believe they're worth $5,000. They don't believe that their services are like going to provide an ROI on $5,000. And so when they go pitch that, like that comes out in their pitch, whether or not they know it, right? Like if you don't,
or they're charging way too much for what they're worth.
What's that?
Or they're charging way too much for what they're worth.
Yeah, true.
True. A lot of people, like a lot of people are looking at this saying, okay, well, you know what? An agent's making 3%. Okay, so $400,000 that can generate, 100 leads a month, 400 grand. They're going to convert 10% of those. That's going to be, whoa, that's a lot of money. I can charge $5,000. I can charge $3,000. Yet I've never worked for real estate. I've never generated leads in a real estate. Oh, I did some. I generated 10 leads for this client here. That they're not worth, and it's not to say it's your lack of experience. Just because you think you know how to run Facebook ads and all this other stuff, or you're just getting into this, like you're not necessarily worth what people should be paying you. And so, you need to match, like one of the things that or one of the questions that always comes up is, how do I get, or what am I supposed to do when somebody says, do you have any referrals? Or can you send me some testimonials? Or can I call one of your clients? And it's like, okay, let them call your clients. Well, but I don't have any. Well, it's like, if you don't have any, then yeah, that's a problem, right? So why are you trying to charge $3,000? That's why they're asking you, because you're asking somebody to give you $3,000 a month, and you've never done this before, right? So that's the other side of it too. Is a lot of people are just asking way too much money for the level of experience that they have.
Yep. Mosey says offering a money back guarantee it's like a paid trial. It's a workaround of the trial thing. I think Absolutely. It is to an extent, for sure.
Yeah. There's so many different ways to do this as well. There really is a lot of different, like so many different ways to do it. Another big question we get a lot of times, like, what's the best client acquisition strategy? The best client acquisition strategy is the one you feel comfortable with and you're willing to work, optimize, and perfect.
You're willing to commit to.
Yeah, that is the best client acquisition strategy that you can put together.
Yeah,
cold call works, cold email works. I've been doing Facebook nurturing since I started this. Like that's the only way I acquire clients. I don't cold call. I hate it. It's like it makes me sick. Matt did cold calling for a long time. So it really depends on what all these methods work. All these methods work. You just need to be consistent with it. You need to perfect the system.
Joe says, calm down with this stuff, guys. Too much fire. You guys are getting value. # value in the comments below.
Too much booze.
Too much. But no, I mean, that's 100% right. Like, they have to commit. And that's one of the things with my coaching calls, right? Like, I don't tell you what method to use, right? I say, which one do you want to use? And let's focus, right? Like, which one do you want to use? And let's build a plan to get it in process and like continuing to generate you business, right? So it doesn't matter which one it is. If you want to use cold email, fine. If you want to use LinkedIn, fine. Facebook ads,
yeah, because there's tons of people. Like you look at, like look at Leighton, with his cold email or his cold calling strategies.
Yep.
Like that guy killed it with cold calling, right? Yep. I could cold call if I could, and anybody, like there's no way that I wouldn't be good at it because I'm uncomfortable with it. It makes me sick to think about cold calling somebody. Then you look at a guy like Zach that, over 100 real estate clients through cold email. His cold email strategies is amazing, right? But again, these guys spent the time, they dedicated their time to it, and they were persistent and they perfected their systems, right? I think I got pretty good at referrals. I that's my method. I like talking to people that know me or that come to me as opposed to reaching out cold to people. There's been people that have done unbelievable things with Facebook ads. They've gotten really, really good at it. You did well with Facebook ads as well.
And I think Facebook ads, I think that should be the goal of any marketer, is to get to the point where you can run Facebook ads for your marketing. Number one, it shows the client you know what you're talking about.
Shit.
No,
like just for me, anyways. Because the reason, the part of the challenge for the Facebook ads, again, I like the referral side of it. That's the way I like to grow. I like reaching out to my clients. I like reaching out to people I've done work with. I like reaching out to my audiences. That's how I like it. The Facebook ad side of you're basically generating cold leads that are coming into your database, and you're basically building up, appointments through that. And that's a great acquisition strategy. You can automate a lot of it. It doesn't cost a lot in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't cost a whole lot of money. Still relatively inexpensive. And if you can get, if you really want to scale, you can scale that. That's
exactly. And I think that's the reason I say that is because of the scalability. I would say it's more scalable than any of the other methods.
Yeah, my method, you can't, it's very tough to scale.
Right. And so that should be.
If you want to get to a $10 million company, my method is a very, very difficult method to scale. You can't.
Yeah, but I mean, your method will get somebody to 6 figures relatively quick.
Oh, yeah, easily. Yeah.
So, I mean, again, it depends on what your goal is. But I think if your goal is to grow this massive company, like you have to get to a point where you're doing Facebook ads for client acquisition. Or
Facebook ads, or you're hiring a sales team, or you're, those are kind of your next steps.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I think
funny how it all goes back to picking up the phone and talking to clients, right?
Right. And I really think accountability is another big piece of it that is completely missed a lot of times. Like as a real estate agent, right? When I was reaching out to generate business, like I had a coach. Like I was paying, what did I pay? Like $1,000 a month, and I was getting like 3 phone calls for a half hour each week. Or 3 calls. It was 40 calls over a year, so it was around like 3.5 a month or whatever. So, anyways, I'm paying $1,000 a month, which was for a half hour call, 3.5 of them. I'm paying almost $600 an hour, maybe more, something like that. Anyways, but like when you're committed and you're paying somebody to hold you accountable, it's a different level that you're at, right? Because there's a lot of people like that I would see in the office, and I was there every day making those calls, right? And I'd see people come in Monday and they'd make their calls, and then I wouldn't see them Tuesday. I wouldn't see them Wednesday. I'd see them Thursday, and they'd make some calls, right? And then they'd leave early, right? But when you're committed, when you're being held accountable, like there's just something different about it, right? And so I would say, I don't know if there even are coaches in this niche right now that are doing that, but like I would say get a coach, like, because it is super helpful and totally worth the money. The guy made me so much money, it's ridiculous.
You know what the crazy thing is? Back in my 20s, you didn't have to pay for coaches. They just coach you.
Yeah. Now it's like people went, oh gosh, these guys have some value.
Yeah. It's
now, I mean,
I think the coaches are like, oh, okay, well maybe I can actually charge people to do this now. Yeah. Like I had a coach when I was 20, as a business coach. It barely charged me. Oh, barely. Yeah, it was crazy.
And I take it back. I know there are people in the space, and they're charging, last I knew, like $3,000 to $7,000 a month.
That's crazy
for coaching. But you know what? In the grand scheme of things, it's really not that much. Like, okay, I'm paying $5,000 a month, but this guy's going to help me add, you know, 20,000.
So much money. I'm paying.
No, it is a ton of money, no doubt. But like
coaching,
if you're paying 5,000, this person's helping you add 20,000 to your bottom line, like it's 100% worth it, right? So yeah, I'm a big advocate of coaching. Again, I don't know people doing it for a reasonable price right now in this niche, but
if anybody wants coaching from Matt Kramer, go to mattkramer.com. He's only $2,500 a month.
25,000 a month. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, right, cool. Okay, I'm going to say this. Matt is an awesome coach. And he coached us with a lot of our stuff when we first started. And that's how I met Matt. But I just, you know, you are a really, really good coach, and especially on the conversion side with the leads and stuff like that. The stuff we did, you know, way back when, really, really helped our teams. So you know your shit.
Yeah,
I think that's probably because, you know, you were managing a team that was doing 80,000 calls a day. 80,000 calls a day, guys.
Is that right? I'm trying to think here.
It was 80,000 calls a day when we were looking at those spreadsheets.
No, I'm thinking. Hang on. It was 30,000. I think it was 30,000 a day.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe
because we had about 30, and they're supposed to make about
800 too. Maybe it was just because okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, so yeah, I just want to be accurate. It was 30,000 calls a day.
It was only 30,000 calls a day.
We had to quickly trim the fat on the people that could not convert because we were burning through our data so fast that we could not continue to call through the list, or we would just frustrate everyone. I mean,
you basically called everybody in Detroit.
Yeah, basically in the metro area. We were going.
Yeah, like in the first 3 days.
It didn't take very long.
All 90,000 people in Detroit.
Yeah, they were just unreasonable. But anyways,
can you find me a house that's not burnt?
Don't make me get into this.
Seriously, what's the crazy? Who wants to hear the craziest call Matt ever heard? Come on.
The craziest call I ever heard?
Yeah, in Detroit, you must hear some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
right?
The craziest call I ever heard was when my ISA said, "Hey, I'm not going to make it in today." I'm like, "Well, aren't you scheduled?" He goes, "Yeah, but I got carjacked on the way in."
Yeah, I've told that story before.
I was like, "Cool, I'll cover." So, all right, let's jump into some of these questions, and then we'll wrap things up. So, please send me a PM when you're going live. Yep, we got that. The lack of training for new agents is criminal if they're supposed to succeed. Thanks to you guys. You have been my education, Joe. Love to hear it. Joe was in my original beta program, and he's just crushing it.
Joe's crushing it, man. Oh, my God.
Yeah. How do I train my lender on the phone or to convert his leads? Like I said, you find a trained lender. No, I'm just kidding. But I would say you role play with them. And you get them the right scripts, and you see if they're making progress. And if they're not, you do find a better.
And you know, there are companies out there that will do this for you.
Like,
there are services out there that will train real estate agents on how and lenders on how to do calls.
100%. Yep. 100%. There are people that'll train it. There are ISA services you can do that'll handle it for you. But at some point, you do have to get in front of the client, either on the phone or in person, and you should know some scripting. Let's see here. I don't recommend. Yeah, we read. If you do a training or an event, what offers do you offer that are attractive to get them to sign on at the event? Daniel, you're in the beta. Make sure to check out the masterclass in there.
Paid to pitch.
Yep, paid to pitch masterclass. But also,
if you haven't watched that yet, watch that, because that is really that's really, really good. Sorry,
it really is. And also, I would say, as far as an offer, you know, I assume we're working with agents here. What would be an offer that agents would really like and get them to sign on right there? I hate to say it, but I might set up, show your prices and be like, hey, it is, X amount of dollars and a, $1,200 setup fee. And if you sign up today, I'm going to waive the setup fee. I'm going to, cut your first month in half. And instead of having a 6-month contract, you're going to have a 3-month contract, so you can see if you actually like this,
Plus, if you sign up today, I'm going to throw in this and this and this. But wait, I'm not done.
Sham, wow.
No, that's how you do it, right? I mean, it's
essentially, no, it is. It's true.
It's basically the perfect webinar, but like in person.
Yep.
Watch the paid to pitch, because Cheryl goes through exactly what she does. And it's really, really good. She does, first of all, the presentation's amazing. She does a great job, but she also shares all of her resources, exactly what she does, her slide deck, everything. It's very, very well done.
Alina says, so many marketers have missed the gold mines because they're limiting thinking. I've seen people literally destroy their chances of getting tons of referrals from me because they insisted on a couple of $100. Absolutely. Sometimes people refuse to see the long-term objective. Other times people are not good at reading like which people are actually capable of sending them referrals in the future, and they sit there and be like, nobody's going to send me referrals, and then it turns out, you know, nobody sends them referrals.
Yeah.
Chris says, have you, Shane, or Matt delved into media buying aside from generating leads and backend systems for real estate? Media buying aside from generating leads and backend systems for real estate? Yeah, I think so. Aside from generating leads and backend systems for real estate.
Define media buying.
Yeah, define media buying. I think so, but I'm not 100% sure what you mean. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm like 90% sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Joe, again, too much fire, calm down. How would you recommend structuring a trial, X number of leads, a certain time frame, something else? Yeah, so I mean, like one way that I would do it is just say, hey, you know, we're going to run a trial. It's $300. It's going to be 100% going to your ad spend. You're not paying me anything for this. And we're going to spend that within the next, 5 business days or something like that, or within the next 5 days. It's really not hard to spend the money if you know that you have a campaign that's going to work.
So let me touch on, I love generating a shit ton of leads really, really quickly, overwhelming the agent. What?
Don't go into speed trials.
But I do this for listings. I do this for homes lists. I do this I love overwhelming the agent and then shutting off the ad. And then it's like, I'm done. I'm done for the rest of the month. True. But you can run your trials exactly the same.
Yeah, you literally could do it where it's like,
and there's a lot of different ways to sort of organize your trial as well. But one of the one of the things I always recommend is make sure you go through those discovery calls so you can kind of learn a little bit more about your clients, see where they're at, what their needs are and things like that, because you can structure based on what you find out in your discovery. You can start structuring your trial accordingly, right? So you can put together a paid trial, you can put together pilots, you can put together free trials, you can put together, there's just a bunch of different ways you could structure that trial. So either you're getting paid or you're not getting paid or whatever. And that would be all based on what you've learned from your client through that discovery.
Yep.
A lot of people miss that. People are like, hey, okay, I can just give you a trial and blah, blah, blah. But if you go through that discovery in the beginning, then you can find out a little bit more.
Yeah. And you know what? If you're just getting started, all right, here's a quick, easy tip. If you're just getting started with somebody and you don't know what to charge and you don't think like people are going to say yes to $1,500 with $1,000 ad spend or $500 ads, like whatever, like go in and say, it's $1,000 a month with 30% management fee, right? And that sticks as long as you're with me. So if you grow to 2,000, then I'm making 600. Like you can do that, run the ads that you tell them you're going to run. That's one other thing I love about when people start with a low price, which a lot of people tell you don't start with a low price, but like for a lot of people, and I was one of them, my confidence level wasn't there where I could just go in at $4,000 on day one. Yeah, I knew my crap. Like I knew what I was doing better than 99% of the marketers out there because I actually had done it. Right. But I still was new to the space, new to selling to agents as opposed to being an agent. Yeah. And so, coming in at
the other thing too, sorry to interrupt, but the other thing that ends up happening is that when you get a few clients under your belt and they're paying you, like you said, your confidence is going up. Plus you're not as desperate anymore. Like it's true, right? You're not as desperate to take every single client that's coming to you. So now you can kind of start picking and choosing which ones are going to be paying you $750 and $1,000, right? And now you get a couple of those under your belt, and then where are you going?
I heard something fall on my deck. I was like, "What is going on there?"
Oh, who knows, right? Get your pow. Is that what you
there has been something getting into the trash, and that's why I was like,
"Oh, it's
am I going to catch this thing?" Because I will.
Get your crossbow out. So, anyways, you start building up and get like $1,000 clients, and then again your confidence goes up even more, but your bank account now goes up. So now you can be a little bit, you don't have to you can take less clients now. You can start focusing on more clients that are worth a little bit more. So the same, I mean, the reality is there's only a certain amount of clients that can afford the bigger retainers, right? Yeah. But there's a lot of clients that can afford the smaller retainers. So as you get more of these smaller clients, yeah, they take a little bit more work, but you build up your business. Now you have some revenue, you've got cash flow coming in, and then you can start building up that sort of next level, and then you can build up the next level, right? And now you can start saying, well, you know what? I don't want to take any clients unless they're, I can charge, $2,000, $3,000, or I want to go after $10,000 retainers and so on. Right now, you have that ability because now you have that cash flow that's coming in as long as you're maintaining those clients.
Yep. And the other thing that's cool with this is when you are doing $1,000 package, right? Or whatever it is, maybe you do a $700 package and you're like, I charge 30% of ad spend with a minimum $300 fee, right? So you're getting at least $300, right? Which is not bad. If you think about it, it's not bad for how much work you're doing. But if you said that's what you're going to do, and you said, this is the service I'm giving you, like you're probably not going to feel obligated to go do a whole bunch of crazy stuff, which I have been guilty of. All of a sudden, I had somebody paying me $700 a month or $500 or $1,000, and they're asking for this. I'm like, yeah, let me do that for you. Yeah, let me do this for you. Let me go do that. And it's like, if somebody's paying you $300 a month, like it's easier for you. Or it was easier for me mentally to like upsell them. Like, oh yeah, you want that? Like, we can do some training once a month. It'll just be an extra $200 a month, something like that. So you can upsell someone really easily.
Absolutely. And this is something that I used to do all the time. And, we obviously, like I've got a couple clients that have been pretty famous for this, $250 funnel that I built, and we scaled that to $5,700 client per month. Yep. Another client from a trial to $6,000. Plenty of clients, like not tons and tons, but I have a few stories like that. I think
we're blowing up the info tonight, aren't we?
Well, anyway, like whatever, 2 hours in, like fuck, if anybody's gonna watch this fucking long.
We got 25 people on. If you guys are enjoying this, let us know in the comments.
But I mean, it's the other thing about it too is keep in mind that like these bigger retainers, these clients become more demanding.
Absolutely.
When somebody's spending $3,000, $6,000 a month, they become a little bit more demanding. And it becomes a little bit more work, right?
Yeah.
So, just keep that in mind too.
Yep. Let's see. Albert says, I used to cold call back in the Wolf of Wall Street days. Not an easy route. No, it's definitely not an easy route. It's a very rewarding route if you are dedicated, but that's not an easy route. Pat says, as a potential client, likelihood of calling or cold call converting is low with me. Results matters. I want to see results. Albert says, yes, it's an art. Absolutely. Newbie question: how well does the 180-day email drip campaign work? Well, Shane, how many referrals has your wife gotten?
Yeah, like so
of people she didn't know that were just on the email drip from Facebook ads.
Well, yeah, so like we know for sure about 2 that we've gotten from the email drips, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's still 2.
What's your average sales price there?
400 or 480, I think. In
480. Okay, so we're talking about what, $24,000 in commissions?
Yeah, one of them was. Whoops, I lost my camera.
Or no, 480. You said 480. I was thinking 400. 480. You're talking about just shy of $30,000 in commissions, or in Canadian dollars. In American dollars, would be like what? 21, 22.
20. Oh, commissions or house price?
Yeah, something like that. So
sorry, my camera's going buggy here a little bit.
No worries.
Yeah. So back to the email address. So yeah, so we've gotten a couple of referrals from with my wife specifically. But we get a lot of people responding to the email drips. Like we get a lot of people that are like, especially the lender questions. Like we send out a question, say, are you working with a lender? This is why you want to use a broker as opposed to going to your bank. If you want, I can send you the information with my broker. We get a lot of people that respond to that one. When I look at the stats from my clients, my wife, anybody the open rates are pretty good. Again, sorry guys, my camera's going buggy here.
No worries. Do you got the Logitech?
Yeah, the C920.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Is it? It's only recent that it's been messing up like this.
Yeah, you might have to get a new one. Thankfully, they're like $50 or like 200 Canadian. I'm just kidding.
I want to get something freaking awesome. Look at this.
You know, I went to Micro Center the other day because I got one for my office, and I was like, "What's the best one out there?" I don't want the C9. I want the best one out there. He goes, "Yeah, it's the C920 right now." I'm like, all right,
really nice still.
Give it to me. Yeah. Yeah, apparently like the C920S and like the C920 SD or whatever they do a couple extra things, but they're like ridiculously stupid things that you aren't going to use for the most part. So
okay, well maybe I'll just buy another one.
Yeah.
So I back to the email drips. Again, the goal of the email drips is not to convert leads. All it is just to stay inside the inbox and just keep reminding people that you're a real estate agent, so that when they're ready, they're going to reach out to you. And that's it. But when we look at our stats for open rates and things like that, it's pretty good. It's not bad at all.
Oh yeah.
I know I feel like they work because people do respond to them. People do open them up. And we do get, like, for somebody to send a comment and say, hey, listen, I'm really enjoying like the content you're sending me. Thanks. Like, for somebody to type that, that's a lot. Like, that's, it means a lot, right? And we do get those every once in a while. So absolutely. I think for the money, like $200 for like 50, 60 templates.
Are those still available on their own? I thought they were only in the beta now.
No, they're you can still buy those. But I think for $200, and then you can just duplicate over and over for all your clients, and then just have that set up, within a couple hours. I think
how many people are in the beta right now? I'm curious because like I'm realizing you could look through our message. We didn't say anything about like making this sales lead tonight. I know we've talked about multiple products, but I think it's just because we 100% truly believe in those products that we built, and we put so much time and effort into them that it's like we'd rather refer to the product than like go over everything that it does, right?
Yeah. So, like, you want to talk about time that we've put into some of these products? The mini conversion follow-up. So the mini, what do you call it? The conversion follow-up mini
conversion course.
Mini whatever. The one with the scripts. So we put 3 months of writing the scripts and testing those. And then we did another month of testing those with a whole different team. And then we spent a week basically building out the course, putting all the scripts in there. And then I spent another probably 2-3 days recording phone calls and bringing that all into the mini course, right? And that's $100. Like,
in the testing that we were doing it's what? Like, we have to have another meeting soon.
Crazy.
The testing that we were doing for that, where we were testing it with your team, or testing it with another, like, the reason we were testing those, like, I was taking those from my experience that I had so far.
Oh, right. Yeah. Like, that was like, these had already been tested. Yeah.
Yeah. They'd already been used by multiple, not just our team, but like multiple other teams had used that. And we kind of took the best of the best. And we're like, this is going to be like the ultimate script, put it to use. And it really was.
And then we added a bunch of other stuff to that, right? Like, we basically added the halfway follow-up stuff. We added the lead diagnostic stuff to it. We added the role play calls, the live calls to it. Like, it was
yeah. Well, I mean, does that one have the Lion Desk hacks in it or not?
No.
Okay.
Lion Desk hacks are
okay, never mind.
Anyways, continue this on. We're gonna fall asleep soon.
I know. Sorry. So let's see. Scalability, or no. Here's a question: does offering an ISA service make it easier to sell a new client?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. At the top, when you're at the higher levels.
Yeah.
Because there is a perceived value in that, right? So if you're going in selling at $3,000, $4,000. I have found that you get a lot less, you still get some rejection or some objections, just not as much, because they're seeing the value. It's like, oh, I don't even have to follow up the leads. Well, You kind of do, but no, you don't.
All right, let's see. We've got a dozen more to get through. I'm going to run through these pretty quick. Scalability, proof of concept. You know your craft. Yep, 100%. Coaching masterclass. That would be fun. I'm not sure what it would look like, but it'd be fun. Matt and Shane should start consulting / coaching for agency owners focused on real estate, like the beta program, but on steroids. Yeah, I mean, to do one-on-one coaching would be tough at this point.
We might do a group like a group. Anyways, we're talking about some stuff, so
there's some stuff in the works.
Sure, I don't know.
But yeah, like a one-on-one would be difficult at this time. Yeah. But we'll look at it. Who is the cold email dude they mentioned? Zach, right?
The cold email dude is Zach.
Yeah. Zach Nussbaum. He's been on here. He is one of the coaches in the beta program and goes through his whole system there. So is there a setup or a service where you would could do a temporary ISA just for the October 3rd trial, like 2 to 3 days? No, there's not. Interesting idea, though. Should I try to find a remote VA to do lead follow-up for the October 3rd master or campaign? What about hiring a remote VA to just do trials until I can get them on full time? Not a bad idea. I think you might be a little bit shocked at the training that it takes.
Yeah, right? It's tough. It's not as easy as you think it is. Yeah. First of all, it's hard to find a good VA. It's hard enough to find a good VA, right, at a reasonable price. Then you have to train them. That's the next step. And then you have to maintain them, which is even harder. Like the acquiring and training is actually the easy part. The maintenance is the hard part, because you're basically having to listen to calls all the time. You have to make sure that they're following the scripts. You have to make sure that they're calling the leads. You have to make sure that they're up in the middle of the night making those phone calls when it's daytime for you, right? You got to make sure that that there's all kinds of things, and it's definitely, and I take it from me. It comes with experience, right? I built an ISA team, and it was hard. It was very, very difficult.
Yeah. Alina says, do you guys have anyone who does Spanish text engagement or Spanish bots? Not text engagement, Spanish bots. I believe, I'm not 100% sure. Does Daniel Gonzalez do that?
Daniel might. Yeah, Daniel probably could do them.
Which he's on here live. I'm sure if you look through the comments, Daniel's, he's made a couple. Actually, he's like one comment above you that says, awesome, thank you. I was thinking along those lines. Yeah, cool. But Daniel, I think has, what did he was it transpose? Is that the word?
Transpose?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. But anyways, he had translated. There we go.
Translated.
Anyways, translated the October 3rd masterclass ad, and it was having great luck with it.
He transposed the English to Spanish.
Yeah. But I think he can do Spanish bots. So definitely something to look at. Do you guys do business that way? Sam, I'm not sure what you're referring to. So I can't really answer it. But I'm guessing if we talked about it, probably. Jonathan says, if I were to pitch the 180-day email drip to a real estate business, what kind of value, generally speaking, would it be to them? Well, I mean, you have a custom 180-day email drip follow-up that's going to help them stay in front of their clients, help them close more deals, and get more referrals on autopilot while they're working their leads on the phone and text. So
yeah, so we've had students and people that have bought those email drips basically upsell them. So they have their standard package, then they upsell their email drips. We've had other people that have included it, but they definitely show the value of it. So when they're building out their stack, it's like it's part of their stacks. Like we provide 30-day or 180-day email drip campaigns. Basically, the way we position. What are you laughing? You laughing at me,
Daniel? He's like, too much whiskey, bro.
So it's not transposed.
Whatever.
Can anybody educate Matt here tonight?
Can you learn me something?
Can you
learn me something?
So, what was I saying? I forget what I was saying. Oh, yeah, right. So the way we pitch, we basically just include long-term email follow-ups is the way we include it. And what we typically suggest for marketers and students is the way you would do this if you acquire the client and they're paying you. What you would want to do is build out the email campaigns every 30 days. So you build out the first 30 days, then you build out the next 30 days.
Yeah.
And then you let your client know, hey, I just built out the 30-day, 30 days worth of emails for all the leads that are coming in. I'm going to go ahead, add you to that drip campaign. please double check it, make sure that everything is good. So now what's happening is that they're getting the emails that you wrote every single day or whatever that sequence is. And then when the next 30 days comes along, you build out the next 30 days. And honestly, when I say build out, it's copy and paste, that's it, right? Change a couple variables and whatever. And then you send them another email saying, hey, I just built out the next 30 days for you. Like, agents, like, they love email drifts. What it is, they just love it. So there's a ton of value there for you and your clients.
Love it. Okay, Alina says value bombs. Albert says I'm still here. Sam says, do you guys do trials? Actually, you just did one, didn't you, for an example? So.
Yeah, we just we want to get some results. We did another trial. I've got another client that right now, like we're not doing trials because we don't necessarily have to. But what we are doing is price reductions. If we come across a client that's really that is a good opportunity, we'll definitely do a price reduction for them so we can get them on board. One thing that I've always been taught, and that I try to drill this into people, is that it's way less expensive to scale an existing client than it is to acquire a new client.
100%.
So, get that client, get your foot in the door.
Here's a quick hack. Like, if you're like, I don't know how to do the ads, right? Or I don't know how to get them to, like, go get a client, do a $200 trial, $100 going to ad spend. And you can tell them that, like, it's $200. I'm going to take $100. I'm going to use the rest on ad spend. And then take that $100 you make, like, go get the October 3rd masterclass, and then you have the ads to run. Like, get a client to pay for it for you. Nothing wrong with that.
You're just plugging in all our.
Yeah, you're plugging in a working system.
It's like,
and at $200, you can't go wrong, right?
Pitch night tonight.
What's that?
Pitch night tonight.
Pitch night. I know. That was not the intention, but like, there's just a lot of stuff that's like, just go do this. We've already built it. We don't. Yeah. Anyways, Joe, I want the Lion Desk hacks. Joe, you already have access to them.
Joe was on the call when you did the Lion Desk hacks.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he was. I'm pretty sure he was, actually. Maybe not.
Daniel says, yes, I converted the masterclass bot into Spanish. Awesome. And then he said, too much whiskey, bro. Cool. Thanks. Albert says, which email system are you guys using? Active Campaign, Lion Desk. I mean, we'll kind of use, I know you're using Active Campaign, but we'll also use the system that our clients are using. Typically, though, we're going to load that 180-day email drip 30 days at a time based on them paying each month going forward. No, man, no transposing. There we go.
Is it transposing?
No, he said not. No. All right, I'm going to have to look this up here. What is, you know what? And we've almost got 200 comments. I think that might be one of our most commented lives.
Let's look this up. You tell us. Is it, what did you call it the first time?
To transpose would be to write or play music in a different key from the original. Transfer a term in which it's saying no. See, it's French, guys. Sorry, I'm too classy. That's the problem.
Oh, it was French.
But anyways.
Oh shit! Hang on.
Miles just joined. Brian just joined. What's going on, guys?
Hey, just hang on 2 seconds here. Let me switch this. My camera's messed.
Yeah, no problem. Ellen says, if they don't have a CRM, do you guys recommend one to start with? Yes, Lion Desk is like a super inexpensive CRM that does a whole lot. So we do highly recommend that one if they don't have anything going right now and they're on a budget. If they're not, FirePoint is one of my favorites. Follow Up Boss is up there. There's quite a few good ones. Jonathan says, worked in a pub for 15 years. This is completely normal. Massive value. Awesome, Jonathan. Thank you so much. Sam says, like lead gen trials to test results. Yeah, we just covered that. So that's good. Do we have an all-in-one package for the classes? Yeah, it's called our beta program. That would be, our beta program is our all-in-one package for the classes.
And we're like this all day long, by the way.
What's that?
We're like this all day long inside the beta program.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, we're not usually drinking when we're doing the trainings, but I say usually. Joe says, go sell some plasma to get the money for the classes. Yes, I think Joe actually, I believe that's what you said, right? Or what you did, I'm sorry. That's what you did is sold some plasma. to run your Facebook ads and to pay for the class when you first got in. And I don't know, Joe, what do you think? Was it worth the money? Yeah, so we're at 176 comments. This is crazy. That's so many comments. We have so many people on. Everybody needs to leave like 2 comments right now. Say something cool so that we get
hit 200
comments.
Everybody comment shots.
There you go.
Shot.
Oh gosh. Maybe in a second here. Not an agency related question, but can you share a couple of quick retargeting strategies, as in how many times a day, single image or video, and so on? Yeah, so retargeting, always going to lean towards video with retargeting. And I like to think of 3 phases. You have cold, warm, and hot. So I would have like 3 different layers of your retargeting, right? So you have your cold is just your general targeting. And then your warm is going to be your retargeting, and your hot is going to be the retargeting of the retargeting, if that makes sense. Shane, what about you?
Yeah, we do a few different things. Retargeting works really well with different offers. And it really depends on the types of campaigns we want to run. There you go.
Oh, that's fun.
I think for when we're doing a lot of the seller stuff, we're doing a lot of retargeting with videos, and we're doing brand building and things like that.
Joe says beta is totally worth every penny, or in his case, drop of blood.
Joe's a nice guy.
We love Joe.
He's a big fan. And he's killing it, which is awesome, right? So good for Joe. I think so last time, Joe, let us know where you're at right now, because the last time we talked, I think you had 5 or 6 deals pending. So just for anybody that's watching, Joe's a real estate agent that took Matt's original beta course and then got migrated to our current beta course. And so he's part of that as well. And I think Joe said he had 5 pending deals, right?
Last time we had
and Alina, right, as well?
Yep, Alina is one.
Yeah.
He's in no, not location-wise, Joe. He means like where you're at in your business. Yep, but he's in Grand Junction, Colorado.
Okay, thanks for letting me know. I really don't give a shit.
Oh man, we have to go to dude. That's where we should do our meetup, is in Denver, because like they have the Cherry Cricket, which is like my favorite place to get a burger in the world.
Oh yeah, let's go to the Cherry Cricket, because that's exciting.
Oh, dude, it's amazing burgers, and it's like right at the base of the mountains.
I'm gonna fly out of Toronto to go to Denver for Cherry Crickets. So I don't even eat burgers.
They have vegan, I think. Maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna say they do, so that you'll go. Joe says closed 4 deals this month, 3 others pending. That is fantastic.
It's awesome.
3 approved buyers he's working with right now, and majority of what Joe is running is all the October 3rd masterclass. Not to pitch it, but we're gonna get rid of it tomorrow. So you have 24 hours. No, I'm just kidding.
Eventually, all that stuff's got to disappear. So, anyways, let's move on.
I will. Anyways, so yeah, we are through all of the questions. You guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Shane, do you have anything else you want to add?
Nope, that's it. But we, for anybody that's watching and just joined us, let us know if you're interested in the lead diagnostic stuff that we're doing. I don't know if we still have a bunch of students, because we do the lead diagnostic stuff inside of our student program, but we were thinking of doing it inside the bigger group. And if you're interested in that, so basically this is how do you deal with clients that come back to you after you've run a campaign for them and they say, listen, all of our leads are garbage, or we can't get a hold of any of our leads, or it's all bad phone numbers. Like, how do you deal with that? We have a training that we do for our students. We've been talking about doing it inside of the bigger group for free. And if you're interested in that, let us know inside the comments. And we'd be, probably be willing to, schedule that sometime, probably next week or something. We probably do that.
If you're interested in that, comment down below good leads, hashtag good leads, or just good leads, whatever. So that we know that you guys are really interested in getting involved in that lead diagnostics. If you asked a question earlier, by the way, and we didn't get to it, I do apologize. They're moving quick. We're trying to get through a ton of content. Again, we asked you guys, what do you want to hear? And we try to cover those things in as much depth as we really could. I mean, honestly, we really didn't leave out much. We went into a lot of depth for a lot of this stuff.
And I can't believe we've been at this for over 2 hours. So guys, if you have been watching the entire time, hashtag Trooper, let us know that you've been here watching the entire time. We'd really your support.
I love seeing the hashtag trooper.
The people, yeah, because then it makes you, it's like, at least there's some people out there as crazy as we are.
Which course is that in the beta course? Which course is what in the beta course?
Who's asking?
Alan Jones.
Okay, so Alan, inside of the REMCM membership area in the lead follow-up conversion mini course, you will find a section called lead diagnostics. And that's basically, I'm assuming that's what he's asking about.
Yeah.
That is basically what we cover when we do the lead diagnostics. This is what Matt does with our clients to figure out where they're dropping the ball. And then so just basically watch that. If you don't have access to it, let me know, because I think that was a bonus that we gave away a long time ago. And then we did it a couple times inside the student program. But that video might, like the ones inside the group, might be gone. Just far away.
And I'll give you guys another a golden nugget here. Well, you tell me if it's golden. Say golden if it's golden, or say coal if you're not crazy about it. I don't know, whatever. But one thing that I do say on the trials, like to pre-frame them, is this: I will let them know, like, we're not testing the quality of the leads. I already know my leads convert. We're testing the quality of your systems to see if you can convert the leads.
That's pretty good.
So
say that again.
We're not testing the quality of my leads because I know that my leads convert. We're testing your system to see if it can convert the leads. So,
cool.
That's something that I would definitely use. And hashtag golden if you like that.
I like it.
Right?
Yeah.
I used to say, and if you're a real estate agent, here's another one for you. When you're pricing a home, I would always say, we are not testing my marketing. I already know my marketing will sell homes. The only thing in this equation that we are currently testing is the pricing of your home in this market. And so that really sets it up that, like, if anything's going wrong, it's the price. It makes it a lot easier to come back and get a price reduction. So,
nice.
All right, with that, we're going to call it a night. Thank you, everybody, so much for sticking around. And we will see you guys all next week or in the group or whatever.
See you guys. Nice talking to everybody. Thanks again for everybody that's joined us. And Matt, it was great chatting. Lots of great stuff here, I think.
Agreed. Take care.
That's good. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Hang on.
Are we done? Are we done? Are we done?
Yep.